With the recent news about high-speed rail and federal money being used to improve Valley highways, transportation is a topic of importance to many people right here in the Valley.
And this morning, Congressman Jeff Denham is meeting with Valley and federal leaders to talk about transportation, and he joins us now before the meeting. Hi, thank you for gracing us with your presence again on Great Day.
Thanks for having me.
It's like twice in the last month or so. We appreciate it. Hey, let's talk about this listening session. What are you hoping for?
You know, I had asked the chairman of the committee to come here. You know, this is the heart of agriculture, and we have to have goods movement. We haven't had a highway bill in 6 years, and now we're looking at a reauthorization where we actually take a lot of the gas tax money and spread it across the entire nation. I want to make sure that our highways here get expanded to 6 lanes and that we have goods movement. If we're going to get people back to work, we've got to be actually putting the most bang for our buck, the most asphalt that we can for our dollar. And this is the best place to do it. So I wanted him to come here and hear from people on how we can cut regulation, how we can cut some of the red tape, how can we actually just, you know, use the money for that asphalt rather than a lot of bureaucratic stuff that a lot of that money normally goes to.
Is it a difficult legislative procedure to transfer federal funds to state authority?
It is. It is. But the highway bill, when it does get reauthorized, sets out a new pot of money and shows the Congress's priorities, basically.
But why spend more on asphalt rather than rail?
You know, I think that you have to have both. You know, we'd certainly all like to see high-speed rail, but whether we have high-speed rail or not, we have to improve our highways. I mean, aren't you tired of hitting potholes along our highway right now? And the congestion that we're starting to see just doesn't allow our agriculture industry and the goods movement that we need to have here. I mean, if we can't move our trucks up and down the highway, it's one more reason why our agriculture industry is going to shut down. So it has to be a focus regardless of what happens to high-speed rail.
When it comes to high-speed rail down the road, will it be viable for the consumer to use to make long trips as opposed to driving their own car and saving money on gas, or flying?
That's the proposal. I mean, certainly the opportunity is there, 220 miles an hour. It has the opportunity to move people to the Bay Area or to Southern California. I mean, I think it would be a great thing. I would love to hop on there with my kids. I'd love to see, you know, people in my district be able to get to work and spend more time at home. I'd like to see people off the roads and onto the train. The question is, at what cost? Can we afford it? I mean, this was originally sold to people as a $33 billion project that's now doubled, and the ridership numbers were supposed to pay for itself, and now it looks like it's going to have to be a huge subsidy. So what I've asked for is transparency. I want to see government oversight. If you want more money from the federal government, if you're going to try to grab money from Florida or from these other states that have now said we don't want it, then show us the plan. Lay it out. Show us where the private investors are. Show us how this is going to work long term, but basically lay out the business plan. And the High-Speed Rail Authority has yet to do that. So I've recently asked the chair of the Rail Committee to come here, hold a hearing. We want to make sure that, you know, the dollar and cents are there before any more money gets thrown at this project.
Funny you say Florida, because they have an amazing highway system and expressway system, so they don't need that because it already works well and there are no potholes. I mean, it's really smooth going. You just have to stop at tolls every once in a while.
Yeah, and we should have a world-class highway system here. We once did, but that was 50 years ago, and it's time for us to reinvest and actually make sure that our gas tax dollars, I mean, we pay every time we go to the pump, we pay our state gas tax, we pay our federal gas tax. We need to make sure that our money goes back to our roads.
On a budget like this that you're looking at in the billions, can you actually put a cap and say, this is it, it has to be done with this amount of money and no more? Get the job done with this budget? Because you know how cost overruns go and time goes on and all, we forgot this or we need this. I mean, can you say hard and fast, this is it, there is no more, get it done, like a business?
I think that's a big question. We will have one pot of money, and in that pot of money we will have all of the projects across the nation laid out. Now the question is, can we get more projects done, or can we actually complete those projects with the amount of money with the government regulation? So whether it's high-speed rail or our highway system, I mean, the big question is going to be, you know, what regulations can we cut? What are the things that we can do in this time of crisis to not only get people back to work, but actually get the most infrastructure as possible. And so part of that lies with the president. I mean, we're going to ask him to change some of the regulations. Right now, this is just a listening session to go across the nation and say, what can we do better?
Talk about exactly where and when this listening session is so our viewers can go.
We're at the UC Merced Center this morning at 9 o'clock. We're inviting the public, but it's UC Merced Center on the current conference center, 550 East Shaw, Fresno.
Okay, and thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure. Thank you.